What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of We Aren't Even Supposed to Watch This Today. I have to say it slow because it's a mouthful. Episode 6, Jersey Girl. So, how was your guys' weekend?
I think Adam is muted.
Adam,
There you
you're
go.
muted.
Oh, I was gonna say thank you again so much for having me. I know it was great. It was great. Had some good food. Got to hang out with some family. Got to watch Jersey Girl for the first time. So that was
You popped your cherry.
Yes, I did.
Wow, first time
My
watch.
first time. Yeah.
Yes.
So David, when was the first time you saw this one?
I think 2004. So maybe a year or two later, but yeah, I bought it on DVD when it first came out.
Me too.
And I thought it was adorable.
Mhm.
It was just a cute movie, and I had no idea that it was Kevin Smith. No.
That's what I was going to ask you.
It does not play like a Kevin Smith movie. I didn't know it was a Kevin Smith movie. I would have definitely given a second thought if it was, because he's not my favorite. But so yeah, this is definitely off his beaten path.
Mhm.
And we got Mike in the house, of course.
What's up, Mike?
Guys?
What's up, Mike?
I'm going to say what's up. Currently distracted by Game 3 of the World Series, and I'll catch the archive. Thanks, brother.
Hope so.
Appreciate
that. Yeah, going up against the World Series, kind of tough. Understand?
Yeah.
It's the best sport in the world, man. Baseball.
Yeah. American pastime.
So, Adam, what were your initial thoughts watching this?
Definitely a change of pace from the dick and fart jokes to the foray of rom-com minus the dick and fart jokes, which they're not minus. There's some.
There's
a little bit. It's a smidge there.
Yeah.
It was a very open-minded watch, because I went into it thinking, I was like, okay, I didn't know that was him either until, going through the canon, and looking through there and seeing the kind of the cast, and I was like, okay, this is going to be something. But then a little bit of it went in a kind of several different directions, and I was like, wow, he's got some versatility, in terms of writing and in terms of script and things like that. But there's so many pieces of him in it, and for a first jaunt into the rom-com, little area, I think he did pretty well. I gotta admit, it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember seeing this and like, whoa, this is totally different than Jay and Silent Bob. But man, my initial watch, I loved this movie when I first saw it, and I remember him trashing it all the time, and all his Q&As, and just him always bashing Jersey Girl, apologizing for Jersey Girl. And I was like, man, that movie's good, especially if you're a father.
I've seen a lot worse movies than this, and even if this would have been one of my canon, I would have been like, might not have been my best, but it still was a great movie. I'm sure everybody involved was like, I'm happy to work this movie. Are you kidding me? Time.
So this movie, I'm just going to get right into the info on it. This movie was released March 26, 2004. But it was originally supposed to come out in fall of 2003, pushed back due to Bennifer and the bomb that is Geely. I have to admit, I have never seen Geely. Have you guys seen Geely?
Absolutely not.
I have.
Is it as bad as it makes it out to be?
Yes. It's horrendous.
Oh, wow.
It's really bad, because you're going in thinking, oh, it's J-Lo and Ben Affleck, but it is so bad. It was like they just wanted to find any script that they could do together. And it was the wrong decision. It was not a good movie.
Oh, wow. Okay, see, I've always wanted to watch it, but if Dave says no, don't, it's not a good movie.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe this came out. It would have been March of 04. March of 04. I would have been 2023 when this came out. It definitely would not have been in my like my initial grabs at the time.
Right.
Definitely not in there. That was big into my horror phase and like Japanese horror and foreign horror. I was just kind of getting into all that, opening my eyes to, you know, different parts of the world horror. But, you know, a rom-com at the time, I'd have been like, I'm good. You know.
Yeah.
But no, as a parent though, this one, there's some heartstrings that are pulled for sure. You
There
know,
really is.
no.
This was Kevin Smith's first film directed outside of the View Askew universe. His first PG-13 movie, which that was kind of shocking too, because you're used to all the F-bombs and drug references.
Right.
And this is the sad part. Mr. George Carlin's final on-screen appearance.
Yeah.
What can be more said that hasn't already been said about George Carlin?
Yeah.
Ahead of his time.
And speaking of dick and fart jokes and George Carlin, I have a clip. Check this out.
Yeah.
Daddy really misses you, mommy, kid. I miss it too, especially right now. Oh, shit.
George Carlin's final on-screen appearance, and may he rest, just a classic human being. I had the opportunity to meet him.
Oh wow.
Very cool.
Back in the early 90s, where he and Gallagher, of all people, did a show together. And at the fairgrounds, and they were staying at the hotel that I worked at, and I got to meet them. Imagine him, me, and Gallagher in an elevator just talking.
Wow.
As I was taking their bags to the room, and it was the funniest conversation that I've ever been in my life.
That's awesome.
That's
I think that's a very hugely underrated comedian, Gallagher. Some of his stuff, I actually have a lot of his shows, almost like 8 different shows of his on DVD, and they're tremendous. I mean, the guy was beyond smart. He was the same kind of smart as Carlin was, just in a different vein, just in a slightly more like just poking fun at everyday life way, instead of Carlin going a little deeper than that. But his shows, they were just as good. That would have been amazing to see both of them in the same place. You know,
that was a great, just an amazing concert. And with Gallagher, you only think of him as the sledgehammer guy hitting watermelon.
That's one thing I think. I've never seen a show of his.
Yeah, but he was every bit as brilliant as Carlin. And the two of them they got along great. And I'd never seen them do a concert together, but they did this one tour where they just did a bunch of fairgrounds all over the US together. And it was just awesome.
And I can understand even where Kevin Smith might have even gotten a lot of a lot of his ideas and wordplay from Carlin and Gallagher, because they both did very strong on their wordplay on stage and how they talked about things. And I think that's a great homage, to have Carlin in his last role in his last movie. That's got to say something for Kevin too, be like, I was the one that got him last, I got it.
Yeah.
In one of his evening with, he talks about how big of a George Carlin fan he was, and how influenced he was, because his dad bought him the records back in the day, and he's listened to him all the time. So you definitely see his influence there.
Oh God, yeah, and definitely in the right, 100%.
This movie had a budget of $35 million. Opening weekend, $8 million. Basically, Kevin Smith money.
Yeah.
Worldwide, 36 million. It's like 35 point something. I read it up to 36.
It was like a break even. Like it was break even by normal people money, but by money, because it's supposed to be like double or triple. It was not. Yeah, of course. Because if I spent $1 million on something and got 36 million back, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I got broke even. But like Hollywood.
This was an expensive movie for him, considered what he shot Chasing Amy with. What, $2 million for Chasing Amy? Mallrats was $2 million or something like that. This was released on DVD September 7th, 2004.
Yep.
And then the Blu-ray January 13th, 2015. And then it just recently got a new Blu-ray. there is a direct. I remember him talking about this, and I don't remember where I seen it, but there is a director's cut. He said it was supposed to be released. It never got released.
Oh.
So I hope one day he's able to put that out. You get more of Ben and Jennifer's love story.
Which would be good.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm glad we're kind of getting into that. Hopefully we get into that because I wasn't, I would have liked to see more Ben and Liv. That's where I was. That's where I would have gotten, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, shortly here.
Oh, yeah. And then that's it. I almost went to something else, but no, that's it for just the news. I'm getting ready to hit play so I can kind of watch and see where we're at. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, guys.
This was I added in a triple.
Oh yeah, this show we're physical media guys.
Mine came in a triple pack with it was called the Affleck. Even on the top, it says the Affleck triple feature. So it had Balance, Jersey Girl, and Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Baby Gone's a great movie.
I haven't seen one of the other ones. I had to bust it open for Jersey Girl.
Well, also before we do that, I want to thank Adam for sending me this awesome VHS he found of Chasing Amy. He knows I love Chasing Amy, and showed up in the mail one day. I was so thankful for that. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah, my pleasure. Of course. Anytime any of my friends are looking for something or any sort of memorabilia pops up that I just go ahead and grab it because you never know where you're going to see something like that ever again, or I know that's looking for stuff. I always have you guys all in the back of my brain, and anytime somebody's looking for something, like one time I was for those watching or listening, D-Ray way back in the day said that Twister was like one of his favorite movies, I think it was, and I found the snap case still sealed to Twister. I bought it and sent it to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. I was like, there
That's
you go.
cool.
So yeah, anybody like stuff like that, I just because I'm always out and about looking for stuff. So yeah, it's always my pleasure.
Always find stuff, man. Always
I try, definitely trying.
So tell me if I'm wrong, guys. This opening sequence it very reminded me of Kindergarten Cop with the kids talking in school. My mind instantly went there when this movie opens. Am I the only one that thought that?
No, I definitely
makes sense.
Very, very different, unique, but very similar to other scenes from a lot of other movies. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Now I do know a little bit of trivia here, and if I'm sure if Mike still here, if he would be, the principal lady at the start, who's at the front of the class, or the teacher. Did you know she's the nun in Dogma?
No, I did not know that.
She's the nun that Matt Damon talks to the whole walk through the.
Oh yeah.
If you look at her face, you're like, oh, that's that nun.
Like I said, I never.
He uses so many people through and through everything. Like the dude when he's changing the baby's diaper in the kitchen, the guy comes in with the little cleft palate thing or whatever. He's the bartender in Dogma.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he's the bartender. So he uses all kinds of little dudes and people throughout his movie that you might not know who they were, and you're like, oh crap, that's cool, and then you catch them.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that he uses his friends, even his high school friends are in this movie. I noticed them, and you get Ernie O'Donnell, you get the original guy that was supposed to be Silent Bob. I forget his name.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He casted it for his friends. He was going to be the original Silent Bob, and then he was like, "No, this is me."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, right now we're seeing the love story of Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, and right off the bat, when Ben Affleck is in his kitchen talking to his dad, who is George Carlin, if you didn't know. This is where I start to have my issues with this. I love Ben Affleck as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors. But did the dialogue seem weird to you?
Yeah, it wasn't like I would agree with you, because when they started talking or whenever it was a little, I don't want to say forced. Forced is not the word I'm looking for. It's the only thing that's coming to my brain right now. But a little, maybe inauthentic. Maybe a little inauthentic would be like the thing, because it's not bad. and
It's not bad, no.
not bad, and it's not forced. It's just a little like choppy. Like it's not smooth. It's choppy. Like that's kind of what I got out of it too. And again, it's not bad by any stretch. It's just like that kind of, that's kind of how I felt it.
Yeah, I got the impression like Ben Affleck and George Carlin weren't even in the same room
Yeah.
when that was filmed. I mean, there were some shots where you saw both of them,
Yeah.
but the camera work was like Ben's face, George's face,
Mhm.
Ben's face, George's face. Like they filmed it at 2 different times.
Mhm.
And
I
that's why
get what you're saying. I really do.
Yeah. 100%.
that's why it felt choppy to me. Was like they weren't playing off each other.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, we can't get together at the same time. So Kevin Smith was like, I'm going to film Ben's part and then I'll film George's part when George can be here. And then we'll slam it together. And I think that's what it felt like to me. Like he wasn't really talking to his dad and George wasn't really talking to his son. It was just kind of say your lines, do the script, and blam. And then, but then I think there were a couple shots where you saw both of them, but they weren't talking.
Yeah.
Could just a little thought I had in my head as you were saying, could the idea from Kevin Smith's perspective been this high class New York exec talking to a blue collar worker, and like that's why it's so choppy. That's why it's so like
because they're not on the same page yet.
Yeah. I mean, that would be maybe my only thought for why it was choppy like that, and it just kind of popped in my head as you were talking. I was like, oh, that's that deeper part of the bad dialogue could be because they're not bouncing off each other because they're not
eye to eye. They're not. Yeah,
that is very much true.
I see that, and if that's the case, then he made that too subtle. It needed to be more. In the script, like, dude, we don't see eye to eye. I don't understand what you're talking about. But that, I like that, Adam. That makes a lot of sense.
It does. It really does. That's what I'm going to go tell myself.
Yeah. I like that too. Let's go with that option.
That's it was just one to kind of notice because, when he starts talking about, driving the garbage truck and the pickup thing, it was like you can literally tell he rose up from the blue collar to get where he looks down on the blue collar. So, him kind of talking down to his dad was another way of looking at that too.
Yeah. To me, it was trying to turn Kevin Smith dialogue into mainstream. That's the way I took it. Because it's wordy with I won't say attitude, but the inflection that Kevin Smith puts in his dialogue that all his characters have. You ever notice that they all have that certain inflection, and he was putting it in. At least at the beginning, it's really noticeable.
It almost, and I know this is a terrible way to put this, but in my head, it kind of is something that honestly almost fit at the beginning dialogue. And I know this, somebody's going to say, oh God, he sounds so bougie with this, but I don't mean it to be by any stretch. But that part of the dialogue between him and his dad, it insists upon itself, like meaning like you can see where it is choppy in a way. And you're like, is it meant to be that way or is it not? Like you almost kind of see that where it goes, oh, I insist this is the way that we would talk normal. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to be bougie about it, but like you can hear it being like, he's like, well, I'm sure this is how these two talk to each other, regardless of the dialogue that he put in. Right. Kind of like, would they really? Like, yeah, would they really? But that's, again, my only little gripe about that kind of conversation is you're like, they probably would talk like that to each other, but it's just way too choppy. Like you said, just it's not. There's nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel natural. We're still seeing the love story, the pregnant. I get a kick out of Jennifer Lopez having a meltdown because she's fat, quote unquote fat, feels miserable. And I think
like that in real life when she got pregnant with her kids. Yeah, you always thought, you like that? Is that how it was?
Yeah, Ben Affleck's body language is perfect. I love the way his body acting is. I don't know what you call it, the technical term for it, but his whole posture changes when he's like dealing with her.
Mhm.
That's one of the things I really like about Ben Affleck in these
Yeah.
opening scenes.
I dig that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
She played a very good little bit that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I see this was one of those ones, and I'll be honest, when she, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched it, when she passes, I didn't feel anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
Right.
didn't feel maybe what I should have for a character that he would write in his movies. Like if this was his love interest for so long and so many years, but it was so, and I don't want to say forced either. Again, that's not what I'm looking for there. It was but it almost seemed like a very New York relationship. Like they were together and like he was like, oh, you're the mother of my kid. And then now I have a nanny and this, that, you know what I mean? Like they're
Right.
there, but it was,
We didn't get to spend enough time with her.
No,
and that's the issue.
yeah. And that's why I
There wasn't, yeah,
I
there
didn't,
wasn't enough development with.
yeah, it was like 20 minutes. Like I was like 20 minutes and then a loss. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
sorry.
I've been 15 in, literally 15
Yeah.
in, and she's giving labor right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what,
No, I literally, after she passed away, I literally forgot about her.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like it wasn't for his writing style in this kind of movie. I wasn't sucked into their relationship enough to care. Like that's
Yeah.
why. I was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, Steve. Sorry that
Like, okay, now what? You know,
Yeah.
it was just-
And that's why I want that director's cut. I want to see more of Ben
in my
Affleck.
head, like,
and-
so the movie's starting now. Like literally, that's what I said to myself. I was like, "Oh, the movie's starting now. Okay, cool." Like,
yeah, this was all, this was all,
yeah, because I mean, you could see from the front. I was like, and why I said the movie's starting now. I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't even know Jennifer Lopez was in this movie." Like literally, that's what from the cover. Like seriously, with her
Yeah.
not even on there. That's
They
why
didn't want her anywhere near this movie. Like
Yeah.
you didn't want to see her face. You didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, the movie's starting now. Like that's how I literally felt when she passed. I was
Mhm.
okay. So then when it moves on, I was like, okay,
Now, right now, this is where I think Ben Affleck shines. Is like he's like, she's gonna be okay.
mhm.
The doctor comes out, and it's sign of the times he's smoking in the.
Yeah, no, I saw that
He
too.
has a cigarette.
Like it's the mid '90s. Of course you could do that. No one cared.
He, again, it goes back to his body language when the doctor is telling him, she passed.
Yeah,
And he just his whole body crumples.
yeah,
And it's fantastic acting. Now, this really hit for me. Like it really hit home because my ex-wife, when
mhm,
we had Malia, my last daughter, my youngest daughter,
yeah,
she I didn't know it at the time because Malia was born 2.5 months early.
oh,
And I was home with the kids because my other kids got sick. They were terribly sick.
oh,
She was in the hospital with preeclampsia.
oh.
Take a little tour here.
Yeah.
I'm down memory lane. And she sent me home because I was with her in the hospital. She sent me home. The hospital was 2 hours away to be with take care of the kids. So I get a call like at 5 a.m. Hey, they're taking the baby. The baby went in distress. So I book it up to Iowa City. That's where she was.
Yeah,
And she goes, go see the baby. And what I didn't know was my ex-wife stopped breathing for a while.
oh my,
And I did not know that until they shared it. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. It's like they didn't want to share it to me because of the stress of Malia, because she was just fit in my hand.
oh my,
She was all the time.
tiny baby.
Yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, that's why this one just really hits because you don't know when your partner's time's up, our time's up.
Yeah.
I think he plays it perfectly here.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, aside from the not getting to know that character very well, or just a very facade, a front, just looking a lot of that character, I think you give it another 25-30 minutes in the movie, maybe I would have been a little bit more, inclined to go, oh shit, that really sucks. And it's like, but it was almost too brief. It was part of the story, but it was too brief. And for those trying to get into the feels of it, because there's gonna, there's parts of this where I got in my feels a little bit, but unfortunately I gotta admit, unfortunately that part just wasn't one of them. I mean, as much as I would hate to lose my spouse for any stretch of the imagination. It wouldn't. That part of that movie, I was just like, oh, that sucks. Like, then I hate just to say it, like, but it was like, yeah, Dave, it looks like you're feeling the same in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked more character development with J-Lo and Ben as husband and wife, and it just seems like that whole thing was rushed. They rushed that in, and then she dies in childbirth, and I was exactly like you, Adam. I said, okay, so this is where the movie actually begins. This was all flashback, is all this was.
Yeah.
Just kind of letting us know why we're at this point. And then, cut to, 6-year-old Gertie, but you got a little bit of stuff in between. But yeah, I was just like, I wanted more of that J-Lo relationship. Otherwise, I thought that whole thing was forgettable. And in fact, I didn't even remember any of it until the rewatch, which was this morning. And I was like, because I was like, I knew that J-Lo's character had died during childbirth, but I didn't know. I didn't remember how long that scene was. I didn't remember hardly anything about it. Then it was, went back to it. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, okay. But yeah, if that director's cut's got even like 10 more minutes of that,
I think it's 30. There's 30 more minutes.
I would dig it. I would be down for it.
Yeah, it's all J-Lo's parts that they cut.
Wow, that's a shame too. I mean, it's as much content as he makes, basically each one of his movies prior to being edited are like the extended versions of Lord of the Rings when it comes to dialogue. But then he has to cut them down, and you're like, oh shit! Like there goes an entire movie within the movie that he just shot. But he knows that, it's like a Tarantino movie with the dialogue. They got to cut 4 hours worth of dialogue out of it to make it a watchable movie. Speaking of him the other day, for some reason he just popped in my head. Someone asked him about his favorite movie, and he was saying about his own personal favorite movie was his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I have yet to watch, which I really want to because I heard it's really good. But it's funny because he was like, I don't care what other people think. He's like, I literally make these movies for me. And I was like, that's a great way to look at something like that. Because what if Kevin made this? I mean, obviously it's a movie, so he made it for him. I don't know if he made it for an audience, but at the same time, that's why I hate when you were saying earlier about how he puts it down so much. I'm like, there's got to be some portion of it in it that's you, that had something to do with you or a story that you saw or read or something like that. So that's why, it kind of makes me upset that he would put it down because it's not that bad of a movie. I've seen much more.
We have yet to get to Yoga Hosers, and he should put that down.
He should apologize for that.
Yeah, he owes us all the apology for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would take an apology for Clerks too, but that's a totally different conversation.
I'd like the apology for Tusk, but
I like Tusk, man.
I thought it was okay, but I was like, I'm not gonna watch that again. But
no, like again,
maybe he didn't, because it just seems like Kevin Smith's like, hey, I've got this rom-com. It's what if we add a half an hour to it, it'd make it like 2.25 hours because this movie's an hour 40, right?
Yeah.
So if he does that, and then the movie company would be like, no, if it's a rom-com, make it an hour and a half.
125, 125 max.
So he's like, well, shit, I'm just gonna have to cut all the first part out and make the whole J-Lo part just a little snip, and then just do the rest after that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that just kind of made him mad.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Because he was handed a situation that he had no control over,
Yeah.
And it affected his
This wasn't his production company.
Yeah.
So he had to do it through was it?
Miramax,
right? Yeah.
Brothers.
So he did it through Miramax, and they were like, no, you need to do this.
Yeah, cut her out. Yeah.
Cut this out, trim the fat, make it an hour and a half. And he's like, man.
And I know this is a low blow, but Harvey was probably too busy eyeballing his wife.
Probably, man. It doesn't surprise me.
He was putting his balls on something. I mean, eyeballs, right?
He was like, "Hey, Kevin, go sit on that couch. We'll talk."
Yeah.
That's if anybody knows that
Why
reference.
don't you spend a day or two and go cut 20 minutes out of your movie and then come back and
Yeah.
we'll be dressed by then. I mean, we'll be done.
Yeah, that's right.
But
No, Jason
Got something on
Biggs
your-
is even
like, Ben,
decent
you
in
got
this.
something on your chin, or he's like, Kevin, you got something on your chin there. We can.
let's take that soup catcher and let's clean that.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
but no, I think though that I think this is a great place to just start talking about the well, before that, Rich, you're saying you like it up to this point, you got everything, you want a little bit more of that story. Do you think that in this case that will add more to the overall story up to this point, or do you just want to see it to flesh out that character a little more?
I want to flesh out the character a little bit more
mhm.
because the story doesn't start until he meets Aerosmith's daughter. My mom
Yeah.
just went with it.
Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah,
I was going to
that's to me
say
what the
that would
story-
be totally bad.
Yeah, they should literally put that Ben Affleck, Aerosmith's daughter, George Carlin, Jason Biggs. Right.
My mind just went blank. Old age.
That's true. That's true. No, I would agree with you there. Just to go ahead and flesh it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would give her death more impact into the movie.
Yeah. And you would
Because
care.
really-
Like,
Because really, yeah, I didn't get any impact until Gertie's 6 years old and they're in their new environment. That's when I was like, that's when I really started to like the movie.
Yeah.
So it was like
that-
all the rest of it was window dressing.
Mhm.
and I like the struggle that Ben Affleck doesn't know how to be a dad because he's so
Yeah.
focused on being being the publicist.
Yeah.
And George Carlin's like, no, man, you're gonna be a dad. I'm not watching your kid.
No,
Tough love.
That was great. I mean, and then that really, when that, every once in a blue moon, I'll say the thing. My wife will go somewhere. She'll be like, you got the kids in. It's like, all right, I'll watch the kids. And she goes, of course you're going to watch
Nate?
the kids. What's up, Nate? Or I just hate using that. I'm going to watch the kids. She goes, of course you're going to watch the kids. They're your kids. You can,
Right.
like,
I think
but
guys
I'll
say that all the time.
And
I'll watch the kid. Yeah, you know what I mean?
say it, but we mean it in a different way than what we say. But it's funny
Yeah.
how it comes out and be like, I'll watch the kids today. And it was just like, of course you're their parent. You're going to watch the kid. But in his case in that movie, he was literally like, to a point, old Gallagher line. He was like, I'm just keeping an eye on the baby. Like literally, what he would, that's all Ben Affleck wanted to do was just keep an eye on the kid because he's like, it's mine, but gross.
I got shit to do.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have to do anything because it was all supposed to be J-Lo handling the mother stuff.
For me.
And then he could continue doing what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
And now he's slammed into this I gotta be mom and dad mode.
Mhm.
And
Okay, now
and
I have.
Evan's in the house.
What's
Evan?
up, Evan? How you doing, my friend?
What's up, Evan? How you doing, brother? Recapture.
The last
I
is Smith
don't think
era.
he was. I don't.
Everything after just seems like he was trying to recapture the magic of his earlier films.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misread that. I'm sorry. I thought you meant this movie. He was trying to recapture the. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'd give that
Yeah.
a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I can't
Yeah.
see it.
And see, here's the problem I have. Okay, the powder scene. How? That's a real baby.
Yeah. Like how did they get the person to allow them? They were like,
Yeah.
now it almost makes me wonder because at that point in time in filming, does anybody know whether or not that baby was Kevin's baby? Because
No, his daughter's in this.
his daughter's in it.
Yeah, his daughter's
Yeah.
in this. She's bigger. She's older in this.
Oh wow, okay. Because I was gonna say kids
They
were
show it.
that age.
Yeah. And Jen Swalbach, or his wife, is
Yeah, his wife is the other
Yeah.
public,
Oh,
kind of like she's the one who's like, I don't want to touch the baby.
Oh, it's like because you're a girl. Like I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to know how to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's totally. If you've ever listened to Plus One podcast with him and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
she's very nothing wrong, feminist, very strong-willed woman, and that sounded like her
Yeah.
real life personality coming out
Wow.
in that line.
No, I know. I noticed that too, and I was like, "There's his little bit of slapstick that he wanted to add in the movie,
Yeah.
just to all the powder, But I love that line when he comes out. They're like, "Were you doing coke?" He's like,
Yeah, it's literally just what they just said.
"I'm a publicist in New York. Of course it was coke." What?
Yeah, and then it's funny how he's bashing Will Smith. This just as Will Smith wants to make the transition to acting,
Mhm.
and he's like the Fresh Prince guy, and he fucking loses his shit because he's stressed.
Yeah, but it's funny how that he was the one, and that really makes me wonder too. Did Kevin Smith really? Because he wouldn't have written that into the movie if he didn't feel a certain way about that too. Maybe watching him growing up like we all did on the TV, and then go, "Dude, that guy's gonna be an actor? What the hell?" Like, I mean, he's an actor, but he's a TV actor. You know what I mean? He's not a blockbuster star, but that's what he ended up becoming, a blockbuster. And you're just like, damn, that's great. You know, I'm sure there was a lot of people out there that probably had that same sentiment when they were watching him, when they were like, he's gonna be in a blockbuster, that guy.
Yeah,
You know. But
and I like the reaction that the dead silence when Ben Affleck loses his shit.
yeah,
I dig that.
Yeah, the crowd was so.
Yeah,
they're like, well,
he's
they're
And then
cracking
they're
up.
like, he's toast. He's out.
I mean,
Yeah.
but he did say what so many other people probably want in that situation. You know, like, all of you can go fuck yourselves, pretty much.
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah.
He's like, just trying to do my job here. You know.
Yeah.
I like that. No, it's not bad either. I dug it.
They do again. He does a good job capturing the him. He's really not grieving yet. Because he's trying to ignore it and go back to his normal everyday life.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
No.
You can't.
Good Lord, no, you can't. You can't let something like that. It's gonna eat at you forever until you arms with it, and then you're just like, oh shit, I can't do this anymore. Can't do this anymore. Can't do this anymore. And you're just like adding the stuff on the list of things you're not going to be able to do anymore in the position that you're in. You know.
Yeah.
Sure. But that was it to me. That scene too was like almost like, you know, and I've been there. I've lost my shit at work before, like a lot, like only a lot. And, you know, seen people see me break down and, you know, kind of lose my shit and stuff like that. But fortunately, I was always been in a position where somebody above me was like, it's going to be all right. Like, just relax, just chill. Like, you're going to be fine. You know, I was like, all right. But, you know, you feel the world piling on top of you, you know, for what reason it might be at the time. And you're like, I can't get out from under this. And, you know, and then you finally do. And you're like, guess it wasn't that big of a deal, you know. But like there in that situation, you go from a 6-figure income or maybe a 7-figure income down to nothing. But then really, and I'll be honest, okay, he's doing this and he had to go back or whatever. My thought there was, God, way to be a New York jerk and probably not put any of that money away that you were making. Like,
right. I kind of thought that too as watching it.
My
Rewatch. I was like,
being such a blue collar kind of guy and kind of and that, I was like, you're making all these millions of dollars, and I'm guessing because he's coming back there and he did his dad's place, and I was like, oh, you just pissed it all away with whatever it was that you did, and that's and for that I have no sympathy. Like, sorry, I'm like, I don't like zero. Like, because if you're in that situation, you have to realize that what if it is all gone tomorrow? What are you going to do? You know, and that, but you know, you don't think that way when you're in the moment, but at the same that in that situation where he did lose his shit and all that, and he's like, he's packing his desk up, and I was like, all right, well, so you lost your job, big deal. I was like, you're making millions of dollars a year anyways, what's the big deal? And then you really think about it, like, oh, he was, but he was probably pissing it all away on all this stuff, and then like he doesn't have anything to fall back on, and you're like, too bad, brother. Like, that's when the world comes crashing back down, and you're like, now you got to see what the life is like for the normal person, you know.
Because I always wondered why he had to have some kind of savings, because it's just weird on this rewatch. He's like,
right,
moving to my dad.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was for the babysitting, for the living babysitter.
I mean, but for real, like a 90s New York publicist for the stars, not even just for like a 90s New York publicist, you're making 6 figures, probably almost at that time, you know. And if you were doing it for what, he was the youngest, so he was at least doing it for 5 years. That's at least almost $3 to $4 million that he had probably put away. I mean, I'm guessing at that point in time, you know, thinking about that, And then when he's like, I gotta go move back in my dad, I was like, you could have probably bought a house and moved your dad in with you. Damn, like,
but that wouldn't tell the story.
No, that wouldn't tell the story.
Yeah.
But I think that was one of the parts there, though. But I'll be honest, that it really didn't affect me nearly as much as he was writing it to the people, that wrote it. I was just like, too bad. Like, welcome back to Earth, buddy. I just, and again, maybe not the sympathy that he was going for in the movie, but that's all the sympathy he got from me. Like,
Affleck's rolling a tear now. He's telling Gertie she's in the crib.
Yeah.
After he moves in with the dad, and he's breaking down. And dude, that's good. That's good acting. That's
a great scene when that's where his dad's sitting on the stoop, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great scene when he's finally like, "Hey, you're my kid. Nice to meet you." Like in that kind of way, not exactly like that, but just like, "Hey, I'm your dad."
Telling about her mom.
Want to talk about, But I can't tell you how many times I sat there and had this conversation with a person.
It's weird what we say to our kids. Right?
For sure. If you're a dad, you have conversations. Mm-hmm. We've all sat there at 2 o'clock in the morning, holding little somebody just going, "No, you can't talk yet, but I've got so much to say," but you're just cooing. That's what it is,
Right, or farting in your hand. Too.
Yeah.
So
I'm having a heart-to-heart moment with you, son.
Yeah.
Going to do this. We're going to have this conversation while you shit in my hand.
Yeah. Oh, that's
change you.
That's an old line. Scrubs episode where Dr. Coxey calls one guy. He's like, is he eating, sleeping, peeing, pooing? He's like, sometimes all at the same time. That's just
Yeah.
But no, I think that was another part where I was like, okay, I'm focused in on this because I've been that person sitting there talking before, and I could relate to that. That was a good part. I'm guessing you felt the same, Rich. Very much.
Oh yeah. This is where, to me, it really starts to hit home again. Mm-hmm. Him feeling sorry for himself didn't really, but when he's having the heart-to-heart moment with his daughter, I have 3 daughters, so that hit home.
There you go. Yeah. Now, has he met Liv yet?
No, not yet. He's just not yet. No.
Yeah. Well, I was telling my wife, I said, I got to be honest. So this would have been a very, moving up to her or coming up pretty soon, going to rent a movie and you're walking through the store. It would have been a very tough role for me to play as Ben Affleck's character in those scenes, because staring at her for more than like 2 seconds, I would have just I can't
right.
Anything. That's just me personally, because she's like, "You think she's pretty?" I was like, "She's gorgeous." I was like, "I don't care." I was like, I would have been a blubbermouth like 10 seconds into staring at her, because as actors, you got to look at the person. I was just like, I forget what I was about to say, like a million times over, and that's just the dude in me. I'm clearly unprofessional as can be.
He jumps 7 years later.
Mm-hmm.
He's picking her up, and he got a new job. He's a street sweeper, which I liked. Made it more realistic, and picking her up from school in it, calling it the Batmobile.
Oh, I love Punch It, Chewy. I love when she said that.
Yeah, and I love the chemistry between Gertrude and Ben Affleck. That seemed very real.
Yeah. That could have easily, I thought that too. I was like, that could have easily been his daughter, like the way that they were going back and forth there, without question.
Yeah, I really like that.
Good little.
Really not much meat here. I'm jumping ahead here too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of again, a Kevin Smith movie, a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, a lot of dialogue.
Kid gets this.
That's cute. 8 o'clock. You both get a bottle.
Every time too. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. It was something that bugs me in real life, and it makes me chuckle because they mentioned in here numerous times. Her not flushing the fucking toilet. Every time.
He's like, flush. All right, fine.
Yeah. What's up, Spicy?
What's going on, Spicy?
Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
No, I didn't just noticing it now as I'm kind of watching it when we're talking. Now, David, you're the internet sleuth. Can you tell me if this was being filmed at the same time as Daredevil? Because sometimes his arms look really big, and sometimes they don't. And I'm wondering if it was around the same time.
It could be. Daredevil came out in 2003, and if this was supposed to be released in 2003 originally,
that'd have
yeah, I could definitely see him
Yeah,
doing both of these at the same time.
Jumping
Yeah, 'cause
from one to the other.
Yeah.
because one scenes his arms look jacked, and sometimes he just looks like a normal wired
Well, if
guy.
he became, and to add to the storyline there, if he became a manual laborer, it's going to happen anyways. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You
That
know,
is true.
it's going to, if you're,
Which makes sense. Yeah, once he's done blue collar like his dad.
went from lifting caviar spoons to 50-pound bags of cement or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
That's for
And
sure.
we get Jason Lee and Matt Damon as interviewers, which I liked.
That's such a good scene.
Again, Kevin Smith bringing in
Mm-hmm.
all the guys.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like, his loyalty. Kevin Smith's loyalty to the people he casts. He always tends to bring them back for whatever role.
I remember it.
I really admire that.
They didn't want him to use his friends. He was like, no. The studios were like, no, you ain't making movies with your friends anymore. He was like, no, I'm gonna make movies with my friends.
Jason Lee in that, or Jason Lee, right? That's there. Yeah. Got the guy, the exec,
with Matt Damon.
Yeah. He looks so sleazy. Like
He does that mustache.
That 90s exec look, right? Well, actually, it wouldn't have been 90s. It would have been like early 2000s, probably. By that time, that on his face, you're still just so greasy and so slimy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. But that was a good makeup effect for him for that, or the way they did him.
Yeah. And we got the boy showing Gertie his penis.
Oh yeah.
Which that made me chuckle. I don't care how it still makes me chuckle. And then she shows her hers.
Yeah.
And then,
like, what are your
intentions with my daughter? Do you plan on marrying her?
I don't know. What are your intentions? Do you plan on marrying him?
love
So
it.
I like how that came full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%?
That's good foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, definitely.
But yeah, when he walks in and they're like showing each other, and he's like, "Oh God."
Open
Right?
door, closed door situation. Yeah, you're like, oh wait,
Okay, I need to do something. I really just want to close my eyes and turn around like I pretend I wasn't here.
yeah.
But you had to be like, okay, we're gonna have to talk.
That would have been me. That would have been me going to pour myself a drink, coming right back and go, all right. So
Okay, now
yeah, let's handle it some way, shape, or form.
They're at the video movie store now, which man brings back memories, man. Don't it? Going
I
to the video.
literally
Dave, you worked at one.
am walking around on a whatever Monday, Tuesday night it was, and just looking at the what's up,
What's
Del?
up, Del?
How's it going, brother? Them looking at titles and being a kid that she is wanting to pick the same thing over and over and over.
Mhm.
I did that one to my parents when I was a little kid.
I remember they showed, I seen the box Scream, Dracula 2000, Scary Movie, and I think these are all fucking Miramax movies too.
Yeah.
I think.
They're all Miramax. Yeah.
they're all
Yeah.
Merrimack.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Ben Affleck going into the. I love the way he nonchalant fucking grabs.
Just grabs one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I really love about this scene, and I just think in general, was he wrote Liv so accessible. Like she's just so she's smart and she's brilliant, but she's so girl next door accessible and that's what makes that so. I think to me, that's what makes her character so appealing. Like that's what I could sit there and literally go to that video store and just talk to her for hours on end. Like you could have that dialogue with that person no matter how much you're just sitting there. I don't hear a word that you're saying, but I know we're talking, that kind of thing, But I think that I
That's going crazy. Rich?
Yeah, they're going. It's that time.
I was
Fucking night.
like, what the hell is going on
Yeah,
here in this thing?
Godzilla is running around.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
No,
That's the theme.
I love the way he wrote her character in that. Like I think
Mhm.
very cool, very super brilliant, super educated person, but they're working at a video store. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a very cool way to write that.
yeah.
And I
Dirty
love,
Dancing?
Hope I got something from the children's section.
All those movies suck.
Watch your language.
Get Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, she's Liv Tyler is adorable in this. I totally agree with you.
There it is.
She's very, I mean, just, and it's so funny because looking back to the other movie where the two of them were together, being Armageddon in '98. I like their chemistry better here
Mhm.
Oh,
in the
100%.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that was all, disaster movie, blah, 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 but they were supposed to get married. They were together, but their relationship was more just romance than this one. It was more friendship
Yes.
and then romance.
And I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You start off as those friends.
Yeah, there's a foundation there. There wasn't
Yeah.
just, you come across them boning on an oil rig.
Right.
saying,
Oh, man,
yeah.
it's been forever since I've seen that.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's
I want to close my eyes. But
I definitely want to, but no, I love how she's just so blunt with him at the thing, just when he pulls up the porn and everything like that, and she asks the questions. But it's a very, like I said, to me, it's a very well written character for someone who he was like, who can I bring in that's like cute as a button, that's some do, and then he grabbed her for that part. I think
got chemistry with Ben
Oh,
Affleck,
yeah.
and the two of them can already do that. Slide right into that role. No pun intended. Slide right in.
Yeah, it was a great
but-
choice, 100%.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that too. I was just like the whole thing with I think I'm gonna give you a sympathy sex. I'm just, you need some pity sex. I'm gonna go ahead and give that to
It's been a
you.
long time.
Why don't you just go out and get yourself a girlfriend?
I work all day. I hang out with my kid all night.
That's kind of sweet. I'm kind of crushing on you right now, Trinky.
Yeah, so,
I think the only other, like, looking at these characters and looking at how they interact with each other for the time, I think the only other person that he could have written that part for, at least in my opinion, that would have fit that brilliantly would have been like Zooey Deschanel. Like that would have been like her, that she could have fit in that person that was the bright person, that cute as a button
I can
person
see that.
working at the video store, him just talking to, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's true.
but yeah, this is not View Askew.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
It's his first one he directed
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't set in that universe. This is just a rom-com, and with Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler and the late great George Carlin.
Yes. Yeah. Now there's the little View Askew thing that comes up at the beginning, but I understand that's the production company,
Yeah.
not set in the universe where all the other characters.
Mhm.
I know that can kind of
Yep.
be misconstrued, saying it's not part of it. It's a View Askew production. It's just not
Yeah.
part of the View Askew universe from the other characters where they were.
Yeah. Anything else in the middle chunk of this movie?
Well, I mean, did you like their chemistry, Rich? Did you like how?
Oh yeah, right off the bat. Yeah, I really did. I liked, like you said it. Really, she's like the girl next door. She's like, you could easily be friends with her,
Mm-hmm.
and then like and fall in love with her.
Yeah.
She's perfect in this.
Yeah.
And I think it's
very-
good that they didn't get that sympathy bone in the beginning.
Yeah, and that
Gertie,
works. And I'm glad they
Gertie
did.
kind of interrupted it with the toilet flushing, and whoa, and then that's when what are your intentions circled back around.
Yeah,
But I liked that, and that allowed them to grow as friends,
yes.
and then grow and then build the relationship based on that, which was Yeah, I think
And that's
good.
realistic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
real. That's what my wife and I did. So, you know, and because my wife and I were friends way before we got together.
Oh, I thought you were saying she was going to give you sympathy sex, and that's how you became friends.
Yo, yeah, but it didn't. That didn't happen.
I mean,
But she gives you that now.
I was hoping for sympathy sex. But, oh, poor me. But no, I ended up. I get sympathy sex now.
That's awesome.
yeah, no,
So
but
we got Sweeney Todd in here too, the play, and I didn't know this was a real play.
I love Sweeney Todd and the Butcher of Barber Street is
Yeah.
such it's a brutal play, and it is a musical, so it does the movie with Johnny Depp. I almost turned that off about 10 minutes in, but I couldn't. Yeah, but it ends up they start killing people, and then I'm like, okay, I can deal with this.
well, because it's one of those ones. It's like a Les Mis where they sing talk the whole thing. Like if you're not, he calls me perfect all the time. But like that whole
Don't give him sex, Rich. I mean,
I won't give him sympathy sex. I promise.
Okay. Yeah. But that kind of sing talk thing, if you're not into that, it can be a little great to the ears. Like if you're like give me a song and then dialogue. Give me a song and then dialogue. But that sing talk dialogue thing, if you're not into that, it can be grating. Like, cause I remember the first time I saw Les Mis, I was like, what the hell is this?
Now, is Sweeney Todd directed by Tim Burton, right?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it's a big fat.
You know, Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. So yeah, it's Tim Burton all the way.
Yeah. All three overrated, in my opinion.
Dell loves Sweeney Todd. Bad singing, good killing.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Loves sing talk except for cats. I hate cats.
And so does Ben Affleck in this movie.
That was the thing about doing Sweeney Todd at the play when everybody else did cats.
Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Even the principal's like, thank God it's not cats. But she had no idea. Oh, it's like God is good, you know, God that's good. So it must be a gospel thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna and no, it's not, but
and then she's like, she falls.
Yeah.
I like that. That was very slapsticky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
It was cute. It was funny. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was good choice for something so out of the ordinary for a little kid too, you know. But her being so, but I like the fact that, you know, as a little kid growing up around people that are way more senior than her, and she always says about the uncles, Uncle Todd, or
they're not your uncles.
I forget. Yeah, those are uncles. He's like, they're not your uncles, but like being around older blue collar, like what you know, if his friends are always over at the house or he's always at the bar, what are the things that she's picking up on? No, actually, Hamilton's not bad. I actually love the way the Hamilton's put together. That I dig that. That's completely different to me because it's a great production, and I like that Manuel, whatever his name is, I like him a lot. But no, in that case, I was like, you can kind of see where she went with something that was way more mature, and like being around the mature people, the grandpa all the time and his friends. You know, I dig that. Very a Little Miss Sunshine-esque, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back a little bit. We jumped ahead to the Sweeney Todd play, which is fucking fantastic. I love it. But I'm going back to the diner scene where he's telling Liv that he hasn't had sex in 7 years and all that. To me, I thought Kevin Smith here was trying to recapture that swing scene in Chasing Amy here. Because Liv Tyler's talking about something about sex, and he's like, "My God, what?" And it instantly took me back to Joey Lauren Adams and him having the same conversation.
No,
am I wrong in thinking that, or am I overthinking?
I think there's a very
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, harkening back to that, you know, or when she says that, he throws the skee ball off to the side, you know, that like to a point. Because that's him, like that's when he says 7 years, that's her throwing the skee ball off to the side, you know, because you could tell that she was like, what, you know, 7 years, kidding me?
Yeah, and that's what she says. She's gonna give him sympathy sex, and he like
Yeah.
stops dead in his tracks. Like what?
Like, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. And then you get this.
Huh? Oh yeah, that's nice. I think we're all
Yeah.
looking at him like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would not been the same scene. I would like, be professional, be
I
professional.
don't think I can finish the scene. Oh wait, no, I finished the scene. The I think that I thought that was funny, and it's I don't want to say the shoe was on the other foot, but it kind of felt that way. Where
Mhm.
usually it's the girl, it's like, oh, it's been a really long time, and the guy's like, oh, well, I'll give you some, but it feels totally different
Mhm.
when it's this way.
Mhm.
But it
Now,
also
the
felt
other way-
natural.
The other way it could feel creepy because it's like, oh, I'll give you some sex. No,
Yeah.
Right.
but the girl's like, I think you need some sex. It was like it felt like she was genuinely trying to help. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Put your apron on. Let's go ahead and do that because
Yeah.
I could definitely use some sympathy sex, and we'll bake a pie while you're at it. But
Yeah.
I loved how that panned out
Yeah.
because it just makes sense, more realistic, that it's like, oh crap, it didn't happen because they were trying to force it.
Mhm.
And I like that, to let that happen naturally over the course of the movie was actually
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It was a great build up to, now I would have loved to know how, because as a parent, you really don't want to let, cats is the worst thing ever. That's true. That movie was garbage.
It
But
sounds like a bag full of cats.
you don't want to, expose your kids to certain people that you don't want to be around. You just don't. But like
Yeah.
in this case, she just ends up showing up at the house like a lot.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
my thing. I was like, you just all right. Like, I mean, I was like, I get it. She's cute. She's no nonsense. She's just cute. Like I could, in that case, I could literally see be like, yeah, of course she'd come over and hang out. Like, what's the worst you guys are gonna do? Sit there and watch a movie together and just talk? Like, I guess that's the one thing there, that because she just ends up over at the house a lot, and you're like, that's crazy. Like, she's just there and they're not doing anything, but she's like a friend. You know what I mean? It's just I was kind of like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then we get Ben Affleck doing what was paid to do. He's selling shit
Mm-hmm.
to the community about height or something. And you get the guy that plays Rick Darris in the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I liked his, like, again, the uncles, if you will. That was the one dude from Dodgeball and the other dude from
Mhm.
Dumb and Dumber, the bad guy from Dumb and Dumber, the original.
Yeah.
And they're both in so much stuff, like just so
Yeah. I don't know their names, but
No.
you know their faces.
good, just character actors that do, all different
And
kinds.
that's 1 point.
That's 1 point each.
Scoring the
Yeah, that's
Libo Network.
Stephen Root is Greenie. That's the guy from Dodgeball, and Mike Starr is Block, and that's
Yep.
the other guy.
Okay.
And I remember him from Bodyguard. He was the other bodyguard that got into it with Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner beat the crap out of him.
I've only seen Bodyguard once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's those are two guys that have been around since the 90s and 80s making movies too, just little bit parts here and there. But I think those actors that depend on like the little bit parts and stuff like that, I think they're way more grounded in the art than some of the ones who get the big parts. Because if you're happy just being in a movie, like a movie that people know you by face, and you're like, dude, haven't you been in there? Like, yeah, I've been in a lot of stuff, like, I mean, so even there's little parts sometimes I think can have big impact on people's career.
Yeah. Again, they're back in the movie theater or the video store, and man, I'm looking at all the videos they're showing. There's Copland, there was Mimic.
All mirror again.
All Miramax best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hard to believe those. I mean, like, yeah, or Miramax, Lionsgate, all them, same ones,
Yeah.
hard to believe.
And then we got Ben Affleck basically going to Jason Biggs to, hey, hook me up, give me an interview.
Yeah.
And to get his foot back in the door. And, well, we know what happens there. He tells everybody and forgets that it's play night. And that's when he meets Mr. Get Jiggy with It. Right?
Yeah.
It's the interview.
But also, I think that's when he finds out he's a dad. And that's the thing right there. When you find out that you're that your kids and your family mean way much more than some goofy job, because you can always get a job. I think that's all I realized about life. I was like, you can always get a job. You can go dig a ditch somewhere. You can go put some bricks on something. You can always get a job. But your family, like when he really lashes out at his kid there, and that one scene out at him, there's so many parts of me that when my kids yell at me sometimes, and I have to, my oldest, when he has a bad day and he lashes out at me, and there's times that I want to say something. I'm like, stop, you're the adult. Don't say what you want to say, or not what you really want to say, because I never want to say this, but don't say something that's gonna, hurt him. And then you're like, God,
you can't take those words back.
But I mean, but he lets her have it. Like, and I was just like, I was like, that's rough. Like, I didn't want you. You like you and your mom ruined my life. And you're like, God damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
Like that's some rough, even if you're a parent, that's like, dude, you hold that shit back, man.
And I think he's kept it so bottled up inside.
Yeah.
I don't think he's properly grieved. At all.
That's Jersey, probably a Jersey Irish American temper that probably. I mean, I'm not saying that that's what they are, but they're from Jersey. It's probably that. Yeah. Very much probably easy to make that assumption right there.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And just the look, and the girl plays it perfect too. The look on her face. The
tears in her eyes, and she was
man.
George Carlin was like, "What the hell's the matter with you?" Like, even like not breaking character, but just like looking at him, like, "What the hell's the matter with you?" Like,
and the look,
like just
perfect.
Complete disdain for his own kid. For like, you don't say that shit to your kid, No, but that was one of the ones that scene. I was like, it's not to say that you can't blow your top on your kids, because you do every now and again, but don't do it like that. Like, don't do it like that. It's rough,
Yeah.
And
I was surprised that Will Smith was actually in this movie when I saw it for the first time, because he's too big of an actor to be in a dopey Kevin Smith movie.
I
thought that.
I think he wrote that. I think he wrote that little, section of dialogue for him just really well, though. Like, because it kind of it brought that almost, beyond celebrity down to a point where he's like, dude, I got kids too. Like, I got mouths to feed too. And you're like, and he's like, oh shit, okay, well, makes sense, Like, we're not that different. Like, we may have different bank accounts, but we're not that different,
Yeah.
Biggest Will Smith fan on the planet, but I got the part there. I understood that.
Oh yeah, it's very well written.
I
want to get to the Sweeney Todd scene again. I want to talk that.
Yeah, that plays really good. I got another video clip to play. Speaking of Liv Tyler dropping over at his house all the time.
Hi.
You're the lady from the video store.
I'm really sorry about what I said to your daughter.
That kid was crying in the car the whole way home.
No, I wasn't.
So, but yeah, she came over all the time, and I was like, but I don't think it was like she was trying to get with him. It was she just really wanted to be friends, and I think she legitimately liked Gertie.
Yeah.
And they got along really well. And I think Ben Affleck's character realized that, and we're like, okay, they get along, so she can come over anytime.
Yeah.
Because I think, I think we could all be really good friends.
Just a genuine
quick scene in that clip you just played where she's standing outside and she reaches out to shake his hand, and he doesn't shake it, and she grabs it And
Yeah.
something about that I really liked.
Yeah,
That was just
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Come on now, you got to do that.
I'm here to just literally be your friend. Relax, chill.
Yeah,
You know, I don't
totally
want
okay.
I don't want anything from you. That's what that handshake meant. Literally, I don't want anything from
Yeah,
you.
I liked that.
Yeah, it was
And
good.
then we're at Ben Affleck's trying to race his ass over to the school.
Getting back to the school, and of course the road's blocked right where he called for the repairs. So he's
Yeah.
like, son of a bitch, so he has to run. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, that was totally foreshadowed. It totally like it had to be there. Murphy's Law, that what he got them to vote for was the one thing that interrupted him from getting there perfectly on time. But he still makes it there with a pubic hair to spare and just in time to surprise the heck out of her. And again, the look on her face
Oh, it's priceless.
when she sees him. And I played that in the intro. That was the most priceless thing, where she was like, "Oh my God, you made it!" And it was the.
But there's nothing better when your own kids give you that look.
Oh yeah, like you
Like
see him.
you're their superhero.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's nothing in this world that can ever come close to
No, not
duplicating that feeling.
not at all.
And nothing could be more devastating when that's shattered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like with that argument and the look on her face when that happened,
Mm,
that would just crush me.
the top,
Yeah.
bottom. You know, that's
Yeah.
where those are. You know,
Those were the two extremes there, and you could see that he saw that in his daughter's eyes, and he's like, "You need to real." And George Carlin, when he said, "You know, what the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
you know, you need to look at that because this
Yeah.
is what you did. That's you
yeah.
being selfish and thinking only about yourself, and you don't have that luxury anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now they correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they all sang those parts, didn't they? Like Liv
Yeah.
Tyler sang that.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, I was like, she did really, really well. And that little bob cut on her as being Toby,
Yeah.
and that it just makes her more cute as a button than it did even when she's prancing around there. I'm like, oh my God, it looks it's so good.
When that little girl ended up growing up to, I think she was on The Voice or something like that.
She did season 11 of The Voice, where she came in and I don't think she made it very far, but
No.
I think she got past the auditions and then lost in like the battles or something.
Yeah.
But this is her now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
She's a pretty young lady.
Yeah.
she turns 29 next month.
Oh, she's not a young. Oh, she's a young lady, but I mean,
She's a young lady,
Oh.
but she's like 11 months older than my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
And even though she was supposed to be, she was like 6 in the movie, she was actually 10 when the movie was filmed.
I can
When the
see
movie
that.
came out, she was
Yeah.
10 years old.
Trying to get a 6-year-old to do that kind of dialogue would be a little rough.
Yeah.
So if you
Especially
can
Kevin Smith dialogue.
play younger, if you can play younger, that's going to work in your favor. For
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, I didn't see her do a lot. She did some TV series and stuff, but the last thing was 2021, but she's got a couple of upcoming things. But a lot of it like is TV shows and mini series and short movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't see her in a lot of big stuff.
I think a lot of these times when you never notice, not because I don't watch them, but you ever see when like an actor may go away, you don't see him for a while, this, that, and the other, but they like pop up on the front cover of like a Hallmark movie or this, that, and the other. Like it's just something that
Yes.
they wanted to get
Right.
some bucks, you know. Oh shit, my bank account's running dry, and Hallmark call, and they're like, "Do you want to?" Yes, yeah, whatever. Like, just let me.
Yeah.
But you'll see them in things like that every now and again, like actors or actresses you've seen before. You're like, you're like walking through Walmart and you look at the front cover, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that person was in that. Like, but they're these ones that like, you know, group of people like my mom watches all the Hallmark movies,
But
and
those Hallmark movies have to make money. or they would
They
not
do,
continue to
yeah.
put them out.
They only make like 30,000 of them every year, and they're all the same
Yeah.
movie, and yet they make gangbusters because people sit and watch them. Like they watch them over and
Mhm.
over again. And even my mom is self-aware enough to watch those movies, when she's like, why is it that every one of those has a scene where there's a downtown in a little town, but there's a spot right in front of the building at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Like I know that they're never would be.
You know, I've never watched one of those movies.
You know, oh, they're so cheesy. It's like watching a Harlequin romance book for the old ones that my mom used to read too, that were the same story over and over and over and over again too. But it's funny. But but it's weird. I had to think like some of those actors, like she could have done something. I'm not saying she did, but like those ones who kind of go away and then they catch a part somewhere, probably things like that too, because there's 1,000,000,005 channels out there on TV now that people are, that are in, and you're like, oh, that's crazy that they did a movie that you never even heard of before, because it might have been on a channel you've never heard of before.
What did you guys think of the ending here in the bar?
I thought it was cute. It was when it all kind of came together, and the relationship kind of started to blossom, and the daughter was like, come on, you guys, let's do this. And then you got the uncles, and you got pops, and all of them are together, and they're kind of basically just reminiscing about the play and going over and what are they going to do next. And then song plays on the jukebox and they're dancing, and I thought it was cute. It was that was something I did that with my daughter when she was really young, where just pick her up and dance with her. And my granddaughter, just recently, song was playing, and she just comes over. She slides a bar stool over, and then gets on top of it and goes like this, and then she dances with me, and we're dancing, and she's standing on the bar stool, and we're dancing. Awesome. It was the cutest thing.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
There's the scene here where, and I really like, because I just seen it. I didn't notice it in the rewatch. Ben Affleck and George Carlin are talking. He leans over. I don't know what he's saying because I don't remember. He grabs him. The look on George Carlin's face.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck kisses him on the forehead, and then George Carlin's like, "It's gonna be okay." This is the look on his face.
Yeah.
It's when he told him he wasn't leaving.
Yeah.
It's when he assured him, "We're staying right here, Pop.
Yeah.
We're staying with you."
Yeah.
I love that.
Because he was like, I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Exactly it. That's
He was like, he goes, I don't want to be alone, and that's maybe I don't want to be alone anymore. And he's like, we're staying right here, Pop.
I could have been wrong. I thought he said, I just don't want to die alone. I thought that's what he said. I was like, that makes it even more poignant. To live alone is one thing, to die alone is another. But like with
I think that was the line. I think that was the line. It was like, I don't want to die alone. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And that made it even more. That's when the feels like, man, that was not a whole lot, but it was like that end. But I did like how the end stressed the daughter, not the love interest. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he was like, that was already there, that was already over there, and it's gonna be there. But the bond, the bond, the kid bond, I like that actually a lot more, that he finished that instead of the romance part.
Yeah.
Very so that sums it up. Jersey Girl. That's it for Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
So, David, what would you give it? Going 5 stars. What would you give it?
Oh, as far as I mean, I still think it's adorable. It's a little dated now. I can see the problems with the script, so I would personally give it 3.5. I think I would go 3.5 stars, but I like it. It's still a rewatch for me. It's just not. It's not really like a spectacular film. It didn't win any awards or anything, and rightfully so. Cute music in it, but it's a cute story. It's a cute little rom-com. It's got, it's got the father-daughter thing, and so I dig all that. But yeah, I'd give it 3.5.
What about you, Adam?
Literally, he kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say 3.5 out of 5 because I think both my girls' daddy died. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Good job, though. That's awesome. I love that. I love those kind of stories. Those are good. But no, literally the same thing. I like how that after, again, I don't mean to be crass here, but after Jennifer Lopez like leaves, it becomes more of a it becomes more of a just a story based around what more I think a lot of people would actually relate to versus the beginning. When it comes down to what are my priorities? Is my job my priorities, my family my priority? Do I have what it takes to be a parent? I've been there before too. I think we all have. We just have that thing where, oh God, I can't do this. But that whole idea of like, which actually was very interesting when she wanted to give him the sympathy sex and all that stuff. The idea that he did put his daughter first there instead of his own carnal desires, if you will. But I mean, like literally, and that's where. But I was like, too. I also think that Kevin, when he wrote those lines in that part there, when he was like, after 7 years, I think most dudes would have been like after 7 minutes, but that's just me. Like, he said 7 years. I'm just like, 7 years? 7? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Dale, for being here tonight, man. We always appreciate you.
Yeah.
Night, Dale.
But 100.
We're almost done.
Yeah, I mean, three out of 5 again, because like Dave said, not dated in a bad way, but just dated in the kind of aesthetic of the movie, if you will. But definitely not his worst writing by any stretch. And for whatever reason, he still puts it down for, or whatever kind of bad publicity or press it gets. I don't think it's deserved. I mean, I think there were a lot of characters in there that I didn't really give a crap about, and I'll be honest, Jason Biggs' character was one of them I liked. It was just side character to me, but the overall aesthetic of the movie was pleasing. Definitely a rewatch, or if it was a video game, definitely a little bit of replayability there, if you will.
It's too bad you don't have the regular Blu-ray, because there's a great commentary track on here. For me, I originally gave it 4 stars. Mm-hmm. But after the rewatch, I had issues with the dialogue. Some of the dialogue was just, it took me out a little bit. So I knocked it down to 3.5. That's what. That's
just generally speaking, across the board type, a consensus there, which we don't normally all do. But I think that was a way. That's a unique take, because I think it's a lot of. There's a lot of humanity in it, maybe not in some parts, but I think the majority of it, just there's a lot of humanity that is lacking, in a lot of those characters nowadays. But I think in this case, he really kind of hit it,
Yeah. So that sums it up again for Jersey Girl. So next episode 7, we're getting my favorite Kevin Smith movie. Adam's favorite.
Well, next to Dogma, yes, they're
next to Dogma, yes.
Like he said,
just the titty hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if David's going to join us. I would love for him to join us, so we can get the opposite.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want me to join, but
no, dude.
Yeah, it's always good to hear the other side. I mean, that's what Rich and I were when it came to Chasing Amy. It was very, very opposite, and the same thing with Dogma. It was very the dichotomy. So and always like hearing the opposite
clips
side
too.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about Jersey Girl. Anything else you guys need to say?
It was a pretty great episode. Yeah,
it was fun.
I am going to change just quick thing. We know Matthew Perry passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm a huge Friends guy. I love Friends. You guys, what did you guys thoughts on Matthew Perry?
Just out of the blue, just kind of weird, in a way, in a time when, you turn around and there's something else happening, this, that, and the other, and you don't want to flip because the guy made so many fans and made so many people happy and so many this, that, and the other. It's one of those ones you don't want it to be a blip, you know.
Yeah.
And I hope it isn't. Like, I hope it sticks around for a while and people keep, you know, remembering them. So many great episodes, so many great, you know, lines, so much great dialogue. You know, the always thing I always loved about his character was him trying to be funny, because I seem to always try to do that around my friends. You know, there's not a lot of time that I'm not, but I try to be. That always reminded me of his character. And I like that. And whatever things he was going through, whether that be personal demons that he was fighting or whatever it came down to, you know, I hope he's just in a better place for sure.
Yeah. What about you, David?
Well, personally, not a Friends fan. I did watch the show for what it was. My sons liked it. They were huge fans of it. Me, not so much, but I would watch the shows. But I like Matthew Perry. I've watched other movies with him, like 17 Again, was Zac Efron, and things like that, to where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm a Matthew Perry fan. I like him. I respect his work. And I just hope that I don't want to sound awful about it, but I hope his death was not negative. I hope that, you know, maybe he just had a heart attack and drowned in his hot tub. I hope it wasn't drugs or alcohol related, because he's had issues with that. He's been in rehab 17 times. And I just hope he didn't fall off the wagon and that's related to it. I hope his death is as natural as possible, so he can be viewed in a positive light, because he was a brilliant person, and you know, he deserves the positive remarks. Also, I want to call out Richard Mall, who recently passed away. Like maybe 2 days before Matthew Perry. And I was a big fan of Night Court, and he was the bailiff on Night Court. He was also the main monster in the original House movie. So I'm just, you know, I want to call that one out as well. That one was more natural. He was 80 when he passed away. So, but yeah, two big losses in the celebrity world.
I was laying in bed, and my oldest daughter, Madison, she messaged me. She's like, Dad, did you see this? And then there was the screen cap from Variety, I think it was. Matthew Perry died. And I was like, no, I think this has to be a hoax. Because you know, you get those hoaxes out there so often.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
And then I was like, oh man. But my memory of Matthew Perry is my Madison. I think she was 4. I'm such a great dad. 3 or 4. And I remember we'd cuddle on the couch, pop in Friends, and just watch. And she loved Friends. She was like from age 3 and 4. I mean, we watched them together and laughing at all these characters, Joey, Chandler, their relationship. Yeah, that's just my Matthew Perry memory is tied to my dog.
Yeah.
Just for those brief moments.
Oh yeah, it's a loss.
Yeah, you have that depth connection.
Yeah,
that goes with family. That's very important, to where the impact is bigger.
Yeah. So I hope those 2 gentlemen rest in peace.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Always, Rich. Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you guys for having me. And
Thanks for having me on, Rich. I really appreciate it.
Waxing intellectual about all these Kevin Smith movies that I wish he would just pop in one time and be like, "What's up, guys?"
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Right? You know,
I probably have a heart. You see me?
I would
right on screen.
He'd be the one having trouble speaking, not like with Liv Tyler, with it, you and I, but
dude, I have so many questions. You know, like,
here's the StreamYard link. Why don't you just join us real quick?
Can you put 5 seconds into your time? I was like, I have a copy of Dogma on Blu-ray. Can you sign it? Can I send it to you? Do you mind?
You used to be able to buy it right from his website.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you have a wonderful week.
You
David,
too.
What do we have coming up?
Well, we have our By the Numbers episode 42 coming up, where we're going to talk about When Evil Lurks. Five Nights at Freddy's, The Mill, and I'm drawing a blank. Ballerina. We've got 7 movies this week,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a big one.
Wow.
The Dive, Pain Hustlers, and Fair Play.
Yeah.
The other ones that we're going to do. So interesting week. We're trying to get the last of the horror movies that are popping in before we move on to our next month of November with other types of movies. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty fun. It was a good week, I think.
Yeah. What about you, Adam? Dude, this
No.
dude finds the best DVDs, Blu-rays, all fucking sealed too.
Yeah, I know. I definitely need to start putting out a little bit more content, a little bit more just pictures of things here and there, and just making a little notes or little things about them. Now, I again, as being the dinosaur of the group and purchasing all the older stuff and things like that, haven't bought anything older recently. Now, I was at a couple good flea markets recently and got some really good still sealed stuff. There were some guys that brought some stuff and I showed you those stacks of the thing I found, but I had to go New School recently when went up to Best Buy myself, and I got the Wicker Man Steelbook, that most recent one. That thing is gorgeous because
it's gorgeous. I'm tempted to get that too.
I had to put it in front of my wood box and be like old school and new school, which I think that might be my next picture that I post on.
You should definitely do
Bearded
that.
4 Eyes Man, do on the new school. And
all you guys' stuff is in the description. So guys, give them a like and follow.
Give Rich, Dave, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Give everybody a like here. But then I also had to pick up I picked up 2 in one day. Was the Wicker Man. I was the last one at my local Best Buy too. I walked in there and I was like, "Oh, I'll take it. Give me that." That was my, And then I also grabbed that limited edition Pumpkinhead Steelbook because the front of that was just gorgeous too.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I'm not opening either one of them, but I had to grab them for the collection because I was like, the artwork on that Pumpkinhead was just gorgeous too. That's a nice. Yeah. Yes, that one. Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yes, is yours open?
Oh yeah, mine's open because I watched it. So.
Can you open that for me just to let's see what?
Show him yours, David. Yeah, show him yours
because I don't.
Mine is damaged, so you got to be careful.
Oh.
I've got to glue it, but yeah, it was damaged.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, I dig it very much so. And I was gonna do the same thing because I was gonna do the same thing with the Pumpkinhead one because I swear I still had in my collection somewhere, and I forget what happened to it. An old MGM copy of Pumpkinhead on the still sealed, and I was gonna put it next to the new one too and be like old and new on both. But yeah, I like both of those steels are gorgeous. They are. I wish I could have afforded that. I don't know if it was Arrow or Intervideo or something. That's like one of those, but they did it was from Europe, I believe, but it was like a 5-disc set of the Wicker Man recently came out, and that one's like $150, $160 on eBay even still, but it's like a huge Wicker Man. It's like,
I don't know.
Oh, it's massive. I was looking that up, but I was like, I'll take that box because it's gorgeous. That steel book, but I had to go a little new school on those because sometimes I get a wild hair up my butt, and I'm like, some of these steels that come out, they're too nice not to let not to, so. But that was my thing. But no, please.
I couldn't.
Oh yeah, what's that? That's the.
This is the Haunted Mansion one.
The Haunted Mansion.
That's a nice steel book.
Gorgeous.
And it's embossed too. This whole thing's all.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is it really?
Raised, yeah. It's pretty. Cool. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I like that. For those watching who, I don't mind sharing and showing off a piece every now and again. Is the like I said, the new one, the new. I know the lighting. The new one, but then have to do the old one to the box, like the literally wood box,
cool.
That's
pretty cool.
But and I got a couple copies of that one. That was one of the Wicker Man. It's just I'll tell you that'd be a great watch to talk about there. That's one of my favorite horror / suspense movies ever. It's so good.
Well, guys.
Yeah, Rich, what you got going on?
Nothing. Nothing. I just dropped a new video for Comic Talk where I'm going to attempt, keyword attempt, to do a weekly comic talk where I read all the comic books for the week that look interesting to me, and just give you my top picks. Gonna be try to do like a 5 to 10 minute episode. That's it. 'Cause I don't like long recorded episodes. I just want to get in and get out. Like what's your face said to Ben Affleck in the movie? Just quick.
Yeah.
Quit him.
Good.
Yeah. That's really it. Besides our show on Wednesday, which we do every week on the 4K Lowdown channel. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 6 of We Aren't Even Supposed to Watch This Today.
Thank you guys.
Everyone, God bless and take
Appreciate
care.
it. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out, guys.